Adam and Eve ate from the tree of what?
The knowledge of good and evil.
Right. So before they ate from that tree, they didn't have an understanding of good and evil, did they?
But they were given the command not to eat from that tree.
So, see, here's the thing. I just asked a very specific question that's going to expose the flaw in your thinking, and instead of answering it, you answered a different question. So here we go. Before they ate from the tree, did they know right from wrong?
No.
Okay, if they didn't know right from wrong, how could they possibly know that it was wrong to disobey God and eat from that tree?
If I tell my child not to do something.
I'm sorry, Marjorie, your child already knows right from wrong. Adam and Eve did not know right from wrong. How can you punish someone for doing something wrong if they didn't know it was wrong?
This is why we have to know our Bibles. But anyways, this is the perfect, and I mean perfect example of humans trying to use human knowledge to understand a spiritual God. You can't, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. You can gain knowledge from reading a science book, from reading a math book, from learning about human events. You can gain some knowledge, but wisdom comes from God. So if you want wisdom, guess who you got to check in with? Again, this is a perfect example. So as I break this down, notice he asked two different questions. The first time he asked, did Adam and Eve know the difference between good and evil? The answer to that is no. How could they? There was no evil in the land. But notice the second time he asked a different question. He said, did Adam and Eve know the difference between right and wrong? The answer to that is yes. The reason why those are two different questions with two different answers is because on a spiritual level, there's a difference between right and wrong and good and evil. Again, you're trying to use your mind to understand things of the spirit, which usually you're going to understand them here first. So let me break this down. And what does that mean? What does that look like? She was on to something when she brought up a kid. When you have a young child, they can't comprehend good and evil. So you can't comprehend lust as a child, right? When you're a little baby, they don't know lust. They don't know anger, right? They don't know these things, but they do know mom told me don't do that. Dad told me don't do that. It's almost just following commandments, just as Adam and Eve did. So let's just go to the text. When you look at the text, and this is what I mean, pay attention spiritually. You know they had knowledge because Adam was in the garden literally taking care of it, taking care of animals, feeding animals, growing crops. You don't think he has knowledge? But he doesn't understand good and evil. Let me show you why. When they eat the apple, guess what happens? The Bible says their eyes were open. You think his eyes were closed the entire time? Or are they talking about something differently? The moment their eyes were open, what did they notice? They noticed that they were naked. So now they're starting to understand something here that they couldn't hear. So what he's doing is he's trying to ask a question using this, but he's not using this. That's where wisdom comes from. So, bro, yes, there is a difference between good and evil and right and wrong. Adam and Eve did not know good and evil. They only knew what was right and what was wrong based on what God told them. So they're being punished now because you stepped into a territory that, first of all, I told you not to. And there are consequences to knowing good and evil, as we find out as we read the rest of the Bible. So it's like, bro, miss me with all of this. I'm trying to confuse you, or I'm trying to outthink the Bible. Like, bro, this Bible has lasted for thousands of years. This man don't know. Like, come on, bro. So you're going to outsmart the Bible now, huh? Stop using this and try and use this. I'm out.